Hello and welcome to episode 81 of the Victorian Studio podcast. My name is Maureen and I'm coming to you from my studio here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Welcome to all new and returning viewers. I hope you enjoy seeing what I have to share today. And as you can see behind me, it's a fair amount. It's been a little while since I last podcast, but it's been very, very busy here. Not only did my daughter get married in September, my parents also had their 70th anniversary recently. I had a birthday, and it was Canadian Thanksgiving last week. So, yes, one thing after another that kept us very, very busy. But hopefully now it will calm down, and I'm looking forward to a nice, relaxing fall. Weather here has been kind of crazy. Daughter's wedding was about the middle of September, and I think that was the last really nice day we had. Shortly after their wedding, it turned very cold. It even has snowed a few times, but it hasn't stayed. So at least that's a plus. But it won't be too long before the snow does fall and stay until early spring around here. So it's good sweater weather, and I really enjoy the fall. It's my favorite time of year. So my apologies for not podcasting earlier, especially since I have some prizes to award for the Harry Potter Cal that's going on in the group, and I'll be doing those in just a few minutes. So apologies for keeping those that are participating in that knit along for waiting for the next prize drawing. I wanted to say thank you very much to Talia and Marlisha, the lovely ladies over at the Pen, Hook and Needles podcast. They graciously allowed me to once again co-host the toy along that the Pen, Hook and Needles group has been putting on for many, many years. This is the 4th year that I'll be co-hosting with them, so that's just wonderful. It started October the 1st and runs right through till December 31st. So the next episode, I'll talk more about the toy along, even though there's already some adorable entries into our thread at the Victorian Studio podcast over on Ravelry. So check it out if you haven't already. And if you would like to participate, it's not too late. You can certainly join along anytime between October and the end of the year. And I will be drawing some prizes at the end of each month for the entries in the Victorian Studio podcast group. And I have listed on our group, on the thread that I've posted there, all the prizes that I will be awarding at the end of each month, but I also teased one prize, and I'll show that to you now. It's a special charm that I made up just for the toy along. It's something that's not available in my shop yet. I will be making more for my shop, but the very first ones are earmarked for the winners in the knit along. So let's see if I can find them here. I haven't done too much in the way of polymer clay sculpting in the last little while because we've been so busy, but I have made these, and here's just a few of them so far. They are little teddy bear charms, and so I hope the winners will enjoy seeing these. They're made of polymer clay, and each one is a little different. They each have their own personality, but they also, each one has their own little bow tie on, and they'll all come with a gold tone rings if you want to use them right on your needles, or as stitch markers, or as progress keepers if you would like to use the lobster clasp. So yeah, these were great fun to make, and I hope the winners will enjoy using these. So 3 of them are earmarked for the toy along, and as I said, at a later date I will add those to my Etsy shop, but I'll talk more about my Etsy shop a little later. But I did want to mention that since I was talking about the toy along. So thank you, Talia and Marlisha, for having me along once again for this Cal. I have yet to decide what I'm going to make for it. I've been busy with a few other projects that you'll soon see, but I'm looking forward to making another toy this year. It's always great fun, so check out both the thread on our group over at the Victorian Studio Podcast on Ravelry and over at the Pen, Hook and Needles group. There's lots of great chatter, works in progress, and great finished objects over there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talking more about that on the next episode. But in the meantime, there's another group that I've been actively involved in. Starting October the 1st was another knit along of sorts over at the Old Loops group over on Ravelry. And every fall, Lydia over at Old Loops Yarn has in her group another year of Harry Potter. And it's a little more structured than what we're running in our own group, in that it starts October the 1st and runs through till December 31st. But each month there are specific challenges and classes that you have to kind of finish projects for. So I've been busy. You'll see a lot of my projects that I'm sharing today are related to that knit along. So it was great fun. The only prerequisite to participate in this knit along was the purchase of at least one skein of Old Loops yarn from Lydia. It doesn't have to be a Harry Potter, well, I guess to participate it does have to be a Harry Potter theme yarn that she's dyed up. She did those over the summer. But while you're knitting throughout the cal, you don't have to use just Harry Potter themed yarn. But she does dye up specific ones. And this year I only purchased one skein, and because I already had quite a few in my stash from previous years. But with that also came my letter from Hogwarts. And again, I was placed in Gryffindor house, so that was great to see. So yeah, got my my approval letter, and it's always great fun to participate in this. There's a lot of the same people that do go into each house, the same house every year. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So this is the yarn that I had selected from her Harry Potter, one of her dyeing sessions this summer. She does a few of them over the summer, but when they're sold out, they're sold out. She doesn't dye any more up. So this one is her Bimini Twist. That's 100% superwash merino, 438 yards, and the colorway is called Tina. And that's in reference to a character from Fantastic Beasts. So I'm looking forward to making up something special with that. You'll see some more yarn that I've acquired over the last few weeks, but I'll do that at the end of the episode. But yes, I've already started and even completed a few of the projects related to the Harry Potter knit along over in the Old Loops group, so I'll be showing you that in a few minutes. The other thing that I'm doing with the Harry Potter cal is an Christmas Advent swap, and I've done this a couple of times, and this time I'm partnered up with a lady from Hufflepuff House. So it's been great fun pulling items together related to her interests. We fill out a questionnaire, and we're to send 25 small packages so that the other person can open one a day for the month of December leading up to Christmas Day. So I'm just finishing up getting her package ready to be mailed out to her. Luckily, Canada Post didn't go on strike yet, and should be able to get that out to her very soon. So in upcoming episodes, I'm sure I'll be sharing with you what she has in turn sent me. So that's great fun. It's always a real kick to put together some items that you think the other person will really enjoy. It doesn't have to be yarn related, and it doesn't have to be yarn, except for the last item is supposed to be a skein of yarn. But other than that, the items that you put in your little Advent swap packages are up to you. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun putting that together as well. So speaking of Harry Potter, of course, we're still running the Harry Potter Knit Along in the Victorian Studio podcast group. It's been going along very well. Thank you to everyone who has participated so far. It continues on until the end of the year, and it's been wonderful to see all of the projects everybody's been working on and all the great chatter and support everybody's giving each other. So without further ado, it's time to award the prizes for all of the entries and chatter in that thread from January the 1st till September the 30th. So this is the third quarter drawing, and because it's the third quarter, I have a little bit larger prizes to award than the ones that I do every month. So the posts that I did the random.org drawing from were posts numbers 2 to 977. And I have 4 prizes to award today. So the first one is a $10 or less US giftable Ravelry pattern. So that winner is post number 210, that's 210, and the winner is Mimuna, M-I-M-O-U-N-A. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but yes, you've won the pattern. So if you'd please PM me on Ravelry and let me know what your choice is for a pattern of $10 US or less, I'll make sure I can gift that to you. The next prize is for a set of charms, and I've made more of these sets up. I had these previously, but ran out of them, so I just made up a few more. These are sets of charms that I've purchased on Etsy or other jewelry finding suppliers. They're kind of Harry Potter related. There are 6 stitch markers and 1 progress keeper. The stitch markers, there's a couple of owls, a chess piece, a cauldron, a lightning bolt, a scarf, let's see, and the progress keeper is a larger owl on a lobster clasp. So these are all in silver tone. So this set of 7 charms goes to post number 65, and the name is South Sea Stitches, and that's Ben. So congratulations, Ben. When you see this, let me know and send me your address through Ravelry, and I will post those out to you. So congratulations. The next prize is for a platform 9 3/4 bag. I still have a couple of these, and these I purchased at HMV before they went bankrupt here in Canada. So this is just a big tote bag, but it's an official Harry Potter item, and of course it has the Hogwarts Express on the bottom. And this prize goes to post number 544, that's 544, and that's Safe 54, and that's Cheryl. So congratulations, Cheryl. When you see this, again, let me know and send me your mailing address and I'll get that out to you, so congrats. And the last prize today is a skein of yarn, and this is a skein of Goth Heart Creations, and they're no longer dyeing, I don't believe. This is their Goth Couture Whomping Willow colorway, and this is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 100 grams, and 350 meters. So this goes to post number 864, and that is Renegale. So that's Renna. Congratulations, Renna. You have won this yarn. Let me know when you see this and send me your mailing address and I will get it out to you. So congratulations. So thank you everyone who is continuing to participate in the Knit Along, and keep entering. I'll be doing another drawing at the end of October, or probably early November for the end of October. I'll be doing another drawing to entries to the end of November, and then we'll do our final year end in the very early new year for everything up till December 31st. It's entered into that thread. So again, thank you so much to everyone, and of course Vonnie, our moderator, who always manages to keep up to date on all the posts and all the great support that she gives everyone. Thank you so much, Vonnie, for all your help. All right, so I guess it's time to actually share with you some of the knitting that I've been doing over the last month or so. And I only have one item that's currently on the needles, and that's some socks. Again, this is for the O-Loops Harry Potter knit along, so of course I have to use a Harry Potter related bag for this. This is for an extracurricular challenge, I believe, that's called Free Dobby, which if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know that it's definitely socks related for Dobby. So the challenge is to try to knit as many socks as you can. And your house gets extra points if you use O-Loops yarn. I'm trying for what they call seeker status, and that is to use only O-Loops yarn for all the main challenges and extracurricular challenges for over the 3 months. So this first project that I'm sharing with you definitely does have O-Loops yarn. And this is her colorway called Hogwarts Express and Sorcerer's Stone. And what I did was I split both skeins. They came in a 2-pack. It's a total of 400 yards, but one colorway was the Hogwarts Express and the other colorway was a skein of Sorcerer's Stone. So each one had about 200 yards in it. So I split each skein into 2 balls because I like to do my socks concurrently. So what I plan to do is use the Sorcerer's Stone colorway for the cuffs, heels, and toes. I'm not sure about the heels, I'll see, but definitely the cuffs and toes. And then the Hogwarts Express colorway for the body of the socks, the leg and the foot sections. So I got started on these a few days ago. And I've been going back and forth, and so far they're knitting up really well. Again, I do my socks cuff down, 2x2 rib, 20 rows of 2x2 rib, and then I'm just doing plain vanilla socks. I love doing just plain vanilla. It's so easy to just kind of have some mindless knitting while you're watching podcasts or other YouTube videos or TV. So I like the way that this Hogwarts Express colorway is knitting up kind of in sections. You can see a little bit better on this one. I've got a little more done on this one. So it's definitely pooling kind of in a spiral. So I love that. I think it looks really neat. So yeah, they're coming along really well. And I just need to get these done by the end of October to get some points for Gryffindor House. For that extracurricular. But it's, yeah, always nice to have a pair of socks on the needles. It's like as soon as I get one pair done, I put another pair on there, although I had to wait until October 1st to actually start this project for it to count for that knit along. So the next projects that I wanted to share with you are all finished objects. And the first one that I wanted to show you is an item that I started 3 days before my daughter's wedding, and it was for her wedding. So I wasn't giving myself much time, but we happened to be out doing some last-minute shopping, and she had mentioned that she didn't have anything to cover her shoulders in case it was a cool day. And because the weatherman was unsure on what exactly the forecast was going to be, they were predicting thunderstorms and cool temperatures, and because it was an outside wedding, I was concerned that she would need something to cover her shoulders. Her shoulders were only had on her wedding dress lace and down the arms. So I thought, well, I'll check my projects that I've previously knit up to see if there was something that I could loan her. But everything was pretty brightly colored, and I definitely didn't have time to do any kind of formal fancy lace shawl like many mothers of the bride do. And I know that wouldn't have matched her style with her dress anyway, so that was fine. But I did want to do something for her in case it was going to be a cool day. So I checked my stash and I checked Ravelry to see if I could find something that was fairly simple and doable in 3 days. And sure enough, I was able to make something. It took just a little over a day to make. We ended up not having to use it though, because it ended up being an absolutely beautiful day. The last beautiful day since, as a matter of fact. But it was a hot, sunny day, and I'm so very glad that she didn't need to use this item. So it was made up just in case. So what I might do is, because she didn't end up using it at all, I might just frog it and repurpose the yarn for another project in the future, because the yarn that I used for it is so very special. Anyway, it's in a bag that actually my daughter sewed up and gifted to me a while ago. So that was very appropriate. So the pattern that I decided to use, I don't have a copy of it to show you, but it's on my project pages in Ravelry if you want to check it out. I have all the notes on how I made this on that project page. But it's called City Wrap by Patterns, and it's a very simple wrap that actually it goes over the shoulders and halfway down the arms. And how they show it in the pattern is another piece of knitting that had a buckle on it. But we decided the buckle would be too big and obtrusive if she ended up using it. So rather than having that, I modified the pattern and gathered it at the front and used a brooch that was a little more bridal for it. So I did change up the pattern a little bit. But first I'll show you the yarn that I selected for this. This is some lamb camp yarn that I had purchased from my friend Sarah at Pumpkin's Patch. That's myfavoritesheep.com, and she owns a sheep ranch in Kentucky, and every year they have lamb camp. And I got about 5 or 6 skeins of this beautiful natural colored yarn. That's just so soft and squishy. It's not toothy at all. It's beautiful. And she says here on her tag, this yarn was grown on Final Frontier Farm in Paris, Kentucky, one of my favorite lamb camp destinations. Expertly cared for throughout the year, the mamas are gently sheared a few weeks before lambing. The wool that kept them warm all winter is now ready to keep you warm as well. Each skein of worsted weight wool yarn is approximately 195 yards and 3.5 ounces. Remember to always hand wash and lay flat to dry. Enjoy. So yeah, it's beautiful. So I thought this would be really nice to go with daughter's dress, because her dress was an off-white, beautiful vintage inspired dress as well. As a matter of fact, I'll put in a picture of daughter on her wedding day in her dress. Yes, that's beautiful. I'm so glad she didn't need to wear this, but if she did, I think this would have been nice over that beautiful vintage looking dress. This is the City Wrap without the extra kind of belt and buckle in the front that they have on the pattern. Instead, I did a bunch of knit two-togethers at the ends and pulled through the yarn so that it kind of gathered in the middle, in the front, and added this vintage brooch that I found at a local antique store. And this is called Sherman's Crystal. It's a vintage piece, and Sherman's was a well-known costume jeweler in Montreal. They're no longer in business, but the Sherman's crystals are considered high-end costume jewelry. So this was a really beautiful piece that I'm glad I found. So I'll have to repurpose it. If I do end up frogging this, I'll have to use it on something else. So yeah, I was really happy that I was able to make this and have it on hand just in case, because the night before we did get some lightning and a little bit of rain, but when the sun rose on her wedding day, it ended up being a hot, clear, sunny day. So we were very, very pleased with that. So I'm actually pleased that she didn't need to wear this. But it was great that I still was able to get it done on time. So that's my first finished object. The next one is something that I did for some extra credit points for Gryffindor House in the O-Loops knit along. And that was something for what they call Slughorn's Slug Club. That's a mouthful. Professor Slughorn had this special slug club, and Lydia decided for this year, if you did extra socks or preemie hats, that you would get extra points for your house. And I've never made preemie hats before, so I thought this would be a great use for some older O-Loops yarn that I still had on hand, that I was able to get 3 preemie hats made from. So these, again, in a Harry Potter bag, of course. And this was one I sewed up myself. The yarn that I ended up using is some that I got, I believe, 2 years ago to participate in the O-Loops knit along back in 2016. And it's the O-Loops loop to loop DK weight 100% superwash merino, 250 yards or 115 grams. The colorway is called The Letters from No One, and that's a reference in Harry Potter, and that's all I have left. So what I did was I started out by making 1 hat, and then it's the basic baby hat. Again, if you want details on the pattern, they're on my project page. Let's see, I think I do have it here, yes. When you print it out, it's by Mama's Stitchery Projects, but it's called the Basic Baby Hat. And what's great about this pattern is it's sized from preemie to teen. So depending on how much you cast on and how many rows you do, there's a variety of sizes that you can do. So as I said, because I've never done preemie hats before, I thought this was a very simple one that I could attempt. So I did the first one a little larger, and then I weighed what yarn I had left and thought and figured out that if I made them a little bit smaller, I could get 2 more hats out of the remaining yarn, and I was able to do that. So this is the first one. I think it looks adorable. I've just put the ribbing cuff folded up there, or brim. And yeah, so I think that'll be great. I love this. This is a really easy pattern to do for a little one. And then I did 2 more that were a little smaller. I don't have the brims up on these ones because they are a little smaller. They're so tiny. I got all 3 of these done in 1 day. They went so quickly with this heavier weight yarn, and this yarn is so perfect for this because it's so soft. And I believe it was number 6 needles, US size 6 needles to make those. So yeah, I may do more. I believe that goes through till December, that you can make as many as you want. So I may do more, but at least I got a few done to get some points for our house. Okay, the next projects that I wanted to share with you are very similar. It's just 2 sizes of the same pattern. Again, for the O-Loops Harry Potter knit along, I chose a pattern and some O-Loops yarn to meet the requirement for the main challenge, which was something that we had to do in relation to Ginny and Harry. And if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know at the end that they get together. But it was a Ginny Loves Harry prompt. And what I wanted to do was something in relation to the second movie or second book, having to do with a diary, the Tom Riddle's diary. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know the story. But suffice to say, I wanted to make something that was a diary cover. So I found a pattern on Ravelry, and I believe it's by Martina Bem, who does the Hitchhiker shawl. yeah, Martina Bem, and the pattern is called One for the Books. There's a picture of it. I believe this is a free pattern on Ravelry. And what it is a knitted book cover. She does a book, a knitting journal that she makes for every year. And to cover your journal or planner, she has this free pattern. And it basically, you knit it up and size it to the book that you want to cover as you knit. So you can make it basically any size you want. Her journal that she shows in the pattern is a 5x7 journal. So that's what I purchased, a book that was 5x7, because in here it said that you needed about 200 yards or 230 yards of yarn. And that was good because the prompt for the main challenge over in O-Loops was that the project had to be larger than 200 yards. So I started knitting on this and came to realize quickly that it wasn't going to be using that much yarn for the 5x7 journal. So what I did was I finished the smaller journal and ended up using it for a second prompt in the O-Loops group. That was a Dobby prompt, and all the details about the prompt and why I used it are on my project pages. But suffice to say, I decided to do a second journal. I purchased a larger 7x9 journal, and that was big enough to get the 200 yard minimum requirement for the main challenge. So I in fact did this pattern twice, and it didn't take long at all, but it was very ingenious pattern that Martina does. You basically start on the inside of the book and work your way up and then across the back, and then do another pocket cover at the back. So it was really very ingenious pattern. It was very interesting to knit up. But again, because you're sizing it as you knit, you can make it for any size journal that you wish. So this one was for a Dobby prompt in the O-Loops group. So if you know the Harry Potter story, you know why the journal and a cover on the journal is appropriate for that prompt. I won't go into all that here. So that was my first project using that pattern, and this is the one that I knit up for the main challenge. And as I said, it was a larger journal, but of course because the prompt had to do with the Chamber of Secrets, part of the events that transpire in that part of the movie has to do with a big kind of snake monster called a basilisk. And at the end, Harry uses a basilisk tooth or fang to pierce the diary and kind of defeat Lord Voldemort at that time in the story. So what I wanted to do was first make a charm. I made this charm myself from polymer clay and just put it on some leather. So I can use this as kind of a journal bookmark. So that's the basilisk tooth or fang bookmark. But again, I use that same pattern to do this this journal cover the same way as the other one, but only larger to meet that 200 yard required yardage for the main challenge. So that was great fun to do that. So those were two projects from one pattern, and the yarn that I used for that again was O-Loops, and I have a fair amount of it remaining. This is Lydia's Perfection Knot in the Lord Voldemort colorway, which I thought was very appropriate. And this is a fingering weight yarn, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It was 463 yards. So yeah, I still have a little bit of that left that I can use for something else. But yeah, those were really great to do. Very easy pattern. If you're looking at finding a pattern to cover some diaries or journals or you know, whatever books that you want to have a nice fitted cozy cover for. I'd highly recommend that pattern. It was so cool knitting it up. You kind of start and you go, how the heck is this going to work? And it was like magic. Appropriate. It just works out. The way she does it, I used my circulars, my carbon circulars, and yeah, it was amazing how it all just works out and ends up fitting a book like a glove. So, or in Dobby's case, like a sock. So yeah, those were 2 more projects that I was able to complete for the OLOOPS challenges. And that takes us to the last project that I wanted to share with you today, and it was something that I had started last May. It was for the house cup. I was going to do an owl and finish up this sweater, but I soon came to realize that summer was going to be much too busy to get that finished on time. I believe I would have had till the end of July to finish it up. But instead I just put it away all summer while we were busy with other things, because daughter and I were attending some outdoor farmers markets with my charms, and so that took up a lot of our time. So I got it back out when Lydia had announced on the knit-along that any projects that were works in progress that could be finished up by a certain date would get points for your house. So I thought this was a great opportunity for me to pull it back out and finish it up. And I did finish it on time, and I'm thrilled to say I now have a Gryffindor Quidditch sweater. So of course it's in my other bag that I put large projects in that I sewed up myself. This is the Marauders map that I got. I got this fabric from Spoonflower, but I don't think they have it there anymore. But I think Joann's down in the States may sell fabric that's similar to this. But I just love this bag for large projects. So before I show you the finished sweater, if you haven't seen it in previous episodes here, I used the Charmed Knits book again. I used this also for my Weasley sweater. This is out of print, so it's a little bit more difficult to get, but you can get it on eBay, or you know, maybe you could get it on Craigslist or Kijiji. I know that I almost got one on Kijiji, but I think I ended up getting this one on eBay. So it was a great pattern, but it wasn't movie accurate, and so what I did was I made some changes to the pattern to make it movie accurate, and I have lots of reference photos as well as progress photos on my page on Ravelry if you want to check it out if you're interested in doing something like this. I first went to Knit Picks and acquired a whole bunch of 2 colorways of their Wool of the Andes, and the first one is Garnet Heather and this one is Golden Heather. And yeah, I think I got like 15 balls of this one, and I think maybe I still have 2 left of this. I think maybe 4 of the golden. It's worsted weight Peruvian Highland wool. Each one is only 50 grams, and it was 110 yards each. So yeah, I have a little bit left of these, and my project page again lists all of the yarn that I ended up using. But I also added to it a patch that I had purchased when I went to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Orlando, Florida back in 2013. So it was a great way to use that as well. So I will try to show you this as best I can on camera. I think it's a little warm to wear indoors here. It's definitely a winter sweater, but I just love it. It is all in ribbing, so it's very flattering. But yeah, the collar is just turned over and then tacked down on the inside. the sleeves, I had to do these sleeves. I actually made 4 sleeves for this sweater. Old person who thinks she's so smart decided that she wanted to do these sleeves in the round. This pattern is all done flat in the pattern pages in the book. But, you know, me thinking that I'm so smart, decided that I was going to do the sleeves in the round to save time sewing them up later. Well, that was a complete disaster twice. Because of the ribbing, I couldn't get a really nice pattern. It ended up almost like twisting the ribbing when I did it in the round. It just didn't look right. So I ended up, like I said, doing these a couple of times before I was really happy with the final result. I believe I added the this stripe that was movie accurate. It doesn't indicate that in the pattern in the book. And I don't think the pattern in the book also has the stripe at the bottom of the sweater either. But yeah, other than that, I think I ended up then doing the sleeves flat like the instructions told me to. I should just follow the instructions, I know. But yeah, once I got going on this, it didn't take too long at all. But it's very, very heavy, very, very warm. But I'm looking forward to wearing this on cold winter days. And it's already pretty cold here, so I'm sure this will get some use. And I told daughter if her and her new hubby decide to do another Halloween dressed up as Harry Potter, well, they can certainly go as a Quidditch player, because this is movie accurate now. So yeah, that was wonderful to get that completed. So if you're interested in that, yeah, check out my project page on Ravelry if you want more details on, you know, how much yarn I ended up using and all the other things that I ended up doing for that. So that was wonderful to get that completed and get some points for the knit along as well, since I ended up not doing it for my owl for the house cup. So that's all the knitting that I have to share with you today. The other things that I wanted to show were some of the new acquisitions that I've gathered since the last episode. And that is mostly yarn, but a few other things. Back a few weeks ago, Lisa at Fibernymph Dyeworks was closing up her current shop as she was opening up a new website for selling her yarn. And when she was closing the old one, she had a kind of a closing out sale. And of course, I had to take advantage of it. I have quite a few skeins of Fibernymph Dyeworks yarn in my stash. And hey, what's 3 more? So I ended up getting a great deal from her on these 3 skeins of yarn. They're all so beautiful. I just love Lisa's dyeing. The first one is this gray, white, and red, and it is called Harlequin on her Traveler base. That's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 328 yards in sport weight. So these will make some great stripy socks, which I just love Lisa's striping. The next one is more of a tonal yarn. Beautiful, beautiful oranges, reds, and yellows in this. This is on her Traveler base, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 328 in sport, so same as the other. This is a speckled version though, and this is called Forged in Fire. I just love this, and looking forward to making something special out of that awesome yarn. Love the speckles in there. Really, really nice. And then the last one I got from her is on her Cozy base. This is called Gunmetal, and it's 100% superwash merino, 220 yards of worsted weight yarn. But I love, love. This would probably make something good for hubby. So I know he loves blues and grays, so this is beautiful. I think this would make a great pair of hubby socks. So thank you so much, Lisa, for the opportunity to take advantage of this wonderful sale that you had, and best of luck on your beautiful new website. It's just wonderful. I've already been there, so make sure you check it out. I'll put a link in the description box below so you can visit Lisa and see her brand new website. The other skein of yarn that I treated myself to was from Marlisha from Pin, Hook and Needles podcast. She also has her own Etsy shop called Lady Fernaco Creations, and I couldn't resist this beautiful teal colorway that she had developed. And this is in fingering sock weight, and it's till we meet again. So it's 463 yards, 100 grams of 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So I don't know if this will become socks or something, maybe a shawl or something. I'm not sure, but it's beautiful. Love the deep teal colors in this. She did a beautiful job on it. So besides those four, and then the fifth one was what I showed previously, the Old Loops yarn. I was really thrilled to get all of that new yarn for my stash recently. But then for my birthday last week, daughter surprised me with a little bit of yarn when she went on her honeymoon. Her and her new hubby went to Hawaii for almost 2 weeks, and she happened to come across a place that was selling some hand spun, and she picked me up this and added it to some other things that she gave me for my birthday. But this is beautiful hand spun from Hula Oa alpacas. I'm sure I mispronounced that, but it's so incredibly soft. It's 100% alpaca yarn, and it's hand dyed on the Big Island, 100 yards of sport weight yarn. So I'm going to have to think of something very special. I was thinking, I wonder if I could get a pair of mitts out of this. Maybe if I did the cuff in something else, because alpaca is so warm, it would make great mitts, and it's so soft. I just love it. So that was great to get yarn from Hawaii. I know I've sold a couple of charms to people in Hawaii, so I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, so they had a wonderful time, great weather, and dodged some hurricanes and things that were going on in Hawaii. So it was so nice of her to think of me and get me some yarn from Hawaii. I've never been myself. And the other thing that she got me for my birthday was something very touching. Over the summer, unfortunately, an artisan that we were very familiar with passed away quite suddenly. And this fellow, his name was Wayne Kapar, and he was a wonderful woodworking artist. And when we first met Wayne a few years ago, I think it was in 2015, when we went to our first class on how to spindle yarn, fiber into yarn. And daughter and I bought our first Turkish spindles crafted by Wayne. And of course I still have them. And since then we had gone back to get larger ones. We had started out spindling with a very small Turkish spindle. And so this was my first Kapar spindle that I had purchased from him back in 2015. And then I got this beautiful one a year or so later. And these drop spindles are just incredible. He was very well known for his artistry with a lot of fiber-related crafts. And not only did he do spindles and those kind of things, he also did Christmas ornaments. And so over the years, every time we would see him at a fiber festival, either in Carberry or the Manitoba fiber festivals, we would try to pick up some Christmas ornaments. So I had purchased a little sheet from him one year, and of course, being a cat owner, I had to get this little kitten and a ball of yarn that he made as well. So these are a lot of fun to have in my craft room here. So when we heard that he had unexpectedly passed, and that his wife was going to be closing down their Etsy shop after she had sold out his inventory. You know, it was very sad to see. And daughter had, before the shop, I don't know if the shop's still open. It may have just a few items left, but daughter was able to purchase something that she put away for my birthday and gave it to me for my birthday. And it was something so very special. And that's this incredible yarn bowl. And this Wayne made, obviously, out of small pieces of wood that he handcrafted, put together and shaped into this beautiful, beautiful yarn bowl. This is his card. And his shop was called Natural Knot Wood Designs. I'll put a link in the description if the shop is still open on Etsy, if you're interested. But yeah, he was a wonderful artist, and it was so sad to hear that he had passed away suddenly. But this is something I'll definitely treasure forever. And it was so wonderful for daughter to give that to me for my birthday. So yeah, very, very lucky, that's for sure. So the only other thing that I wanted to show you related to my birthday was a present that I decided to treat myself to. If you've been around for a while, you know that not only do I have an Etsy shop for my polymer clay charms, I also have an Etsy shop that I started before I started doing sculpting with polymer clay. It was for digital drawings that I made for people who do paper crafting. And it's basically an Etsy shop. It's called Digidrawn, and I'll put a link in the description box below, where I've done these drawings that people can pay for and automatically download. There's no shipping or anything. It's the easiest Etsy shop ever because it's instant download of a PDF that people can use to color in and add to their own scrapbooks or greeting cards, that kind of thing. And I really enjoyed drawing these, but I never had the proper tools to do digital drawings properly. I had an old tablet that was one of the first ones that came out that really didn't work very well. It was more frustrating than anything. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and one of the ones that was recommended to me was this fellow in Australia named Jazza, and it's Draw with Jazza. He has like 3 million subscribers. He's an amazing artist. He did a review of the latest screen tablet or screen digital drawing tablet from Huion. And I watched not only his podcast and reviews of this a tablet, but others as well, and they all agreed that this new screen tablet was wonderful, that it was a really good price, and it was on sale until the end of October. So I thought, well, it was about time that I treated myself to a proper digital drawing tablet so I could do more drawings for my site. It also will help me both at home and at work because I do a lot of digital art for websites and even for making promotional items for my Etsy shop and that kind of thing. I do a lot of editing of my photographs and everything, and using a mouse and the software that I had was really tiring and hard on the arm and the shoulders to use a mouse to digitally manipulate drawings and photographs. So I decided to treat myself to this Huion tablet, and I don't know if I'll put it in or not. I did an unboxing of it. I may put part of it in at the end of this episode, but it's called the Canvas 13, and this is it. So it's not much to look at. I'll try to put some pictures in of me actually using it as well. But this is the item, and what was amazing is this came, I ordered it through the Huion website, which is in China. And that was 4 working days before my birthday. And on the website it said it takes 3 weeks to get delivered to Canada. Well, lo and behold, on my birthday, I took the day off work, and the doorbell rang, and it was Canada Post, and they delivered my tablet in 4 business days from China. So the tablet that I had ordered as a birthday present for myself actually arrived on my birthday. I was amazed. I couldn't believe it. So I've been playing around with it a little bit. I haven't had the opportunity to do too much with it because we've been so busy with Thanksgiving and my parents' anniversary that I haven't had a lot of time to practice with it. I have been playing around with some drawings. Here's an actual image of me touching up a drawing. I didn't do the original drawing of this Gryffindor lion. This was my avatar on Ravelry for a while, but I thought I would try some tips and techniques that I was watching online and apply it to this drawing. I was having a lot of fun redoing it, so I'll put that picture up here. So yeah, this is going to be a real learning experience, but what's wonderful is not only do you use this stylus pen on it, but it actually displays your image right on the screen. So it mirrors the screen of your computer on here, so it's like you're drawing on your pad of paper or sketchbook or whatever. Older tablets, they didn't actually display the image on the screen itself. You had to look at the screen on your computer while you drew down on your tablet, which was just black. And that required a lot more hand-eye coordination, looking up at your computer while you were drawing below on your desk. This way, it's like you're drawing right on your piece of paper because you're looking down right at it. So it's wonderful. I'm looking forward to using this quite a bit and hopefully doing some more drawings for my Digidrawn Etsy store too. So that was my little splurge for myself. As I said, hubby helped contribute to that as well. But yeah, I was amazed. I've had packages come from China that took 6 months to get here, and they were like little brushes for $3. But here, this tablet, it was only I think $35 to ship to Canada, and it got here in 4 business days. Just amazing. I must have just timed it perfectly for it to make the plane trip over. So yeah, that was all of my wonderful treats for a really wonderful birthday as well. So let's see, just before I finish today, I thought I would mention daughter and I are going to be, if you're local, we're going to be vending at our first indoor craft show in November. It's coming up just in a few weeks. I can't believe it. It's called the Deck the Halls show at Canadians Polo Park. There's going to be over 150 tables, and we were lucky enough to get accepted to have a table there, so that's quite exciting. So we're looking forward to vending there, and that's on Sunday, November the 4th. So if you're local to the area, you know, if you're watching and you do come by, please say hi. The other thing is, I just did a bunch of stock for, again, local people for our yarn shop here in Winnipeg called Wolseley Wool. And so I restocked my consignment over there, so a bunch of my charm stitch markers, progress keepers, are being stocked over there as well. So yeah, that's been keeping me quite busy. And so there's nothing too new on the Etsy shop right now. I will be adding the teddy bears soon, but right now we're currently continuing on with a special that any order over $50 Canadian, which is about, I think, $38 US, has free shipping anywhere in the world. So if you're interested in that, you can check out the shop from the links I put below. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I had to share. And next episode, I'll be talking more about the toy knit-along and more of the Harry Potter knit-along. So until then, thank you so much again for popping by, and I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks until I record again. So until then, take care, everyone. Bye-bye. So it looks like I have company to help me do an unboxing today, something that I've never done before. Dakota, you going to help me? Yeah. So it may be wet and rainy outside, but it's better than snow. I remember some of my birthdays that we've had snow on the ground, so this wet and rainy day isn't so bad, especially since something arrived in the mail that I totally wasn't expecting to arrive yet. So let's see. Let's get to the unboxing. So I'll try to get this all within the frame here. I got my Tim Holtz scissors here that cut through anything, but I want to be very careful that I don't damage the box inside. But yeah, I can't believe this. I ordered this on Thursday, and for it to take only 4 days to arrive here is amazing. I often order supplies from Thailand or Indonesia, Japan, and China for some supplies that I use for my sculpting. And for example, I just received yesterday 3 very small nail art brushes, and those I ordered in May and they just arrived yesterday. So I can't believe that this only took 4 days to arrive. So, yes, that is amazing. Dakota's going to help me, aren't you? Aren't you? Okay, so this is it. This is called the Canvas Pro 13. It's a 13-inch digital display, which is wonderful because my old tablet that I used many years ago was more like a mouse tablet where you just drew on the tablet, but you had to watch on your laptop or computer screen where your hand was actually going. With this, it duplicates the actual image from your computer right on the tablet, so you're drawing right on what you're seeing, which makes all the difference in the world. So this is amazing. I can't believe this is here already. Really nice card. Oh, really cute. So let's see what's included in this. And one of the things I wanted to make sure of before I ordered this was that it would be compatible with my current laptop. My laptop is a few years old. I'm definitely looking towards getting a new computer, and I may go to a desktop this time because I'd like to get a more powerful system to eventually, maybe in the future, do some streaming online, and for that I need a lot more powerful system than my current Mac that I have, my laptop. But in the meantime, because my Mac also runs Windows 7, this hopefully, fingers crossed, will be compatible with it. So today we'll do the unboxing, and a little bit later when I get to start using it, I will show how I'm using this. So this is the tablet itself. It comes in a nice protective sleeve. Wow, that's amazing. So one of the reviewers was funny. Before they started to put this little sticker on here, it was Draw with Jazza, I believe, and I'll link his awesome art channel below. He was so funny. He says that the first ones that he got, he was actually drawing with this protective coating on top, which is hilarious. This is kind of like when you get a new phone, that really nice feeling of brand new, beautiful screen. So it's got a power button, some shortcut buttons that you can assign, and taskbar. So, and then it comes with a single outlet for all the controls. One of the things that people were saying were nice about this is that it has all of the power bars and all of the connections all in one. So I've got a warranty card, and for drivers, which I know I may have to install new drivers. I know the first ones that we're shipping needed an updated driver to make sure that the lines were nice and smooth. So, and this is very interesting. This is a stand that you can put your display tablet on, so you don't have to draw flat on your desk, but this puts it up at different levels. So if you've got different heights that you prefer to draw at, this does numerous adjustments to display your tablet on. So it has these different notches and 2 wire braces that you can choose whichever angle you prefer, and this rubberized lip holds your tablet on there. So if Dakota would get off of the actual tablet, that would be nice. Thank you. Okay, so, oh, and here is the pen, which is a new style pen. Apparently the previous models you required batteries for, so this is one that doesn't need batteries, which is nice. They send you a little glove that you use so that your hand can glide freely over the tablet surface. Again, you've got your power cords, and they have you choose which adapter you need for which country. So I got one that will be compatible with Canada. And this little donut is to hold the pen. And inside it, apparently, we have some extra nibs. Okay, so here are the extra nibs that you can use on your pen, which is nice. So you can set your pen in it either horizontally or vertically. So that's really cute. I can hardly wait to start drawing.